Bryce Reeves running for U.S. Senate, State Senator, running for U.S. Senate against Mark Warner in November. Should have an easy path to the nomination. Bryce, I've not followed that race closely. Do you have any competition going into June?
Yeah, John, we've got I think a gal, and I apologize. I don't quite remember what her name is. That's all I know so far. But we have the advance, as you know, coming up on the 5th here shortly. So we're looking forward to the advance. This is another one of those races, kind of like when I first got into the office running against Ed Houck, and no one said we could beat him, and we beat him by 86 votes. And the reality is that he's going to be a tough opponent to beat. But if there's anybody that's going to put in the labor to try to beat him, I think we've got that. And, one of the things that has been one of the real issues since we took a shellacking was, the party is in a little bit of disarray right now. And people, I think, are shocked. And they're going to be more shocked after probably mid-January when the 400 and plus bills come through that the governor vetoed the last couple of years. And people realize that the General Assembly is going to be trying to grab their guns, raise their taxes, put us back in the regional greenhouse gas initiatives, those sort of things, as far as state issues go. So, what I'm working with now is a very strong grassroots organizations, working with my different chairmen, trying to regroup. We've done a battlefield kind of damage assessment, and I think there's a lot of folks in the party, especially the grassroots and the MAGA movement, that would like a strong MAGA candidate. As you know, we supported President Trump through his election, crisscrossing the country for veterans, doing all those sort of things you have to do. But I think Mark Warner is a lifelong politician now at this point. He's a multi-millionaire, $350 million. He's made a bunch of money off of it. He didn't like that. He didn't want to give our military he didn't want to vote for the resolution. He kept voting no, negative, and he doesn't really care about the people. He lives in Alexandria. I don't even think he gets far south as Herndon, So, but what I want to remind people is when he was governor, he gave us the largest tax increase Virginia ever had, and he made this statement in a debate with John Warner, and I'm going to quote it so I don't get misquoted. But he said, I don't want to be a lifelong politician. My view of public service is something you do for part of your life, not all of your life, which I agree with. That's why I signed the term limits pledge. I actually signed it. That's why I've said that if I'm elected to the U.S. Senate, I'll serve no more than 2 terms, because I believe the value of our system is that it's constantly renewed by fresh ideas, new ideas, and fresh people. That's quote Mark Warner.
But here's the reality, Bryce. I mean, you just got annihilated in Virginia. Annihilated. Not you personally.
Yeah.
The Republicans Spanberger won that race by 15 points. It's the biggest victory for either party since 1960. That's almost, 3/4 of a century. I mean, it was an absolute shellacking. I mean, Mieres got beat by a guy that talked about killing him, his wife, his kids. He gets beat by 5. I mean, the state has just turned completely blue. I mean, how do you buck that trend in a year? I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, I just want an honest answer on and I get you were an underdog with Houck. I remember that race. I remember getting you on. I remember how exciting it was back in the day, but that was a very different time in Virginia. I mean, look at these.
I don't disagree.
You look at the results here. I mean, the Republicans got annihilated. I mean, how do you turn this around in a year?
Well, I think the Democrats are going to turn it around for us. When you look at the legislation, John, that they're going to pass, and I would tell everybody, go look at all the bills Governor Youngkin vetoed. There's going to be at least one bill in there that I don't care who you are in Virginia, whether you're Republican or Democrat, you're going to hate. You're absolutely going to hate. And I can tell you, whether that's right to work, that bill's already been filed, whether it's trying to get rid of qualified immunity for our sheriffs, they're well aware that that's a Jay Jones bill, our new incoming attorney general bill. And so I will just tell you, they're going to do a lot of the work for us. And I think Virginians, I think they kind of wanted a divided government a little bit. These guys between Tim Kaine and John Warner, they're not even well liked much in their party anymore because all they've done is sit up in Washington, D.C. and make a lot of money. So I'm under no disillusion, John. This is going to be a tough race. But, look, we've talked in the past, we've had libations. You and I are good friends. You're a coach. That game was last week, right? This is this week. We either got to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and get to work, or we could just yield the whole state to the left, turn into California, and start moving to Texas, Tennessee, and Florida, right? I mean, you've lived here. You know what it's like here. It swings all the time, and I think we just have to put forward a vision for Virginia that people will understand. And people in Virginia want three things. Very simple things. They want their lives made easier, they want their lives made better, and they want their lives made safer. And after this General Assembly session, none of those things are going to happen. Warner hasn't done any of those things to help any of his fellow Virginians. He sat up there on Capitol Hill and made millions and millions of dollars. And let me remind people how he made his money. He was a staffer for a member of Congress up there and helped write the Communications Act, and then wound up setting up all these companies, taking advantage of them all, and making millions of dollars. And then what happened was they all found out about it, say, hey, that's not right. We got to change the law. And now that's illegal. So when he did it, it was still legal. Wasn't right, but he did it. And now it's an illegal thing. That's how he made his money. He's been in Congress or in politics his whole life. So he's either lying then when he made that statement, or he's lying now when he comes up for re-election.
Well, you make a pretty compelling case, and there's no doubt. I mean, as a former coach, you're right. I mean, you get the crap kicked out of you. You got to get the film and go to the next game. You can't just stop playing and end the season. So, I mean, I get that, and I guess what you're banking on here is complete libtard, left-wing communist bills passing, and
they're coming.
And one thing I agree with you, Spanberger is going to sign them all. This idea that, she's a moderate, she's going to sign them all. There ain't a bill she's going to veto. She will sign them all. And then come July, it's going to be hell to pay because these laws are going to go into effect, and maybe people get riled up, and maybe that puts you in a position to compete in this race.
Well, that's it. And you hit the nail on the head. And I think when you look at the races and you really delve down into the numbers, one of the things that we lack in Virginia, and I think we lack as a country for Republicans, is we just suck at absentee ballots. And if you look at this, and I'm speaking to your audience across the country now, in your states, you need to chase absentee ballots because in Virginia, the left, they turned that bill on us when they had the majority and said, when you sign up for an absentee ballot, you are no longer just going to get it for that 1 year. You're a permanent absentee ballot recipient. And from here on out, the rest of your life, unless you opt out of it, you're going to get an absentee ballot in the mail. And here's what's fascinating. The return rate on an absentee ballot is 86%. Remember how you and I got on the radio, we did these things, and we started telling people you got to vote early, right?
Right.
Well, we conquered that part of it. We're always 10 steps behind the Democrats. But now we've got to get those absentee ballots. We've got to get in our nursing homes. We've got to get our troops. We've got to get all these folks that typically vote in every 4 years for president we got to identify those people, send them an absentee, encourage them to sign up for absentee ballots. I don't want to say send them an absentee.
And then we got to follow up. Their follow-up machine on these mail-in ballots is incredible. That's how they get 86%.
Correct.
and it's not just Virginia; it's all over the country.
Right.
They are so far ahead of us. The good news is we caught up on early voting. Now we're in the game, and you and I have been talking about that forever. In the
years, yep.
The people with the vote on game day algorithms, servers on the moon. It's all clickbait nonsense. All of it is nonsense, and I've been fighting it forever. Right? It's a joke. It's about voting early, getting the vote in early, banking the vote. We've kind of gotten there in a lot of these states, but you're right. The mail-in ballots, we're so far behind. We have no apparatus. And then the problem you're facing, Bryce, in Virginia is there's no party. You don't have a party. There's
Well,
no.
and that's it.
There's just
That's part of the BDA that we did as a caucus in the Senate caucus as well. And we're looking at, look, if it's to be, it's up to me. And that's, where there's a will, there's a way. We've got to find the way to win as Republicans. And that's going to take leadership. And right now, we're kind of absent that leadership. And so my mantra, and you know me well enough, John, is to step up and try to lead. And if there's a better candidate that can self-fund, that can come out there and be our nominee, I'm all game, right? I'm not saying I'm the Michael Jordan of politics, but if we have a Michael Jordan of politics that wants to come to Virginia and run, please come, because we need you, right? We need a lot of things here in Virginia. Well, a couple things we could use is some encouragement from our the boss, right? He needs to come to Virginia and tell a lot of us, hey, keep your chin up and keep in the game, because the president and whoever comes after him needs us in the next go around, whether that's JD Vance, whether that's Marco Rubio, who knows, but we're going to need help. And so I refuse to give Virginia to the left. I just will fight them at every turn. And part of that duty is to step up and lead. And that's what I'm going to do as a former Army Ranger. You know me, I'm a coach, all those sort of things. And look, I'll go toe to toe with Mark Warner any day. My challenge is going to be money. Biggest thing that we're going to have to deal with is that guy has banked millions of dollars, and we had to start from zero. So look, I'm under no disillusion. I told you that before, but look, we have the right message, we have the right candidate, and I think by the time we get in the next year, we're going to have the right atmosphere that's going to balance the game a little bit, because people are going to be pissed, just like they were pissed this election. We had all those federal workers in Northern Virginia that weren't working. What did they do? They went to vote early. Even Republican federal workers voted against us because they wanted to go back to work. And the reality is, we lost the messaging battle to the left on that issue in Virginia. And they painted us with it like they have every other time, rather than take responsibility for it. Isn't it amazing that Tim Kaine and the rest of his buddies, as soon as they won the election, wow, they voted to put people back to work. So if people are that stupid that they just got used by pawns, that they can't figure that out, I don't know how to change that logic. But what I do know is how to meet voters, how to meet donors, make those calls, make those commitments. And people know me, and John, you know me better than anybody, because you and I haven't always agreed, and we go head to head. That's why I love you so much. And look, we're going to try our best to beat him. I think we can do it. Given a couple of debates, I think we can prove to show where he's conflicted out on so many different issues that it's time for him to retire. I quoted him earlier. Is he a lifelong politician? Absolutely. So he's either lying then, he's lying now. We need to hold his feet to the fire.
Well, I'll give you this, Bryce Reeves. You're very convincing. I love your passion, and we need fighters. I mean, we need to fight. It's easy to just fold your tent and say, you know what, we suck, we can't win. They run the state. You got to be able to put up good candidates. I think I'm sure you'll be the nominee. I really can't see. I think it's Kim Harrington, is Farrington or something. Don't
That's
know
it.
her, but
That's it.
yeah, nice enough lady. I guess I don't. If I did meet her, I don't remember. Wish her the best, but I believe you're going to be the nominee, and let's go fight. I mean, you got to lace them
I
up,
love that.
lace them tight, and go fight.
Lace them tight, baby. Yeah.
Lace them up and lace them tight. And we got a lot of tough races out there. But if you sit on the sidelines, I used to say in basketball, the only shot you're guaranteed never to make is the one you don't take.
You got it.
And when things got tough, I used to say in the timeout, 5 seconds to go, down by 3, got to inbound a ball, and then I can call all the plays till you're blue in the face. Here's what it comes down to: somebody's got to make a play. You just got to make a play.
Give it to the impact player. I want to be an impact player. Here's the other part. The good news for my constituents is, and they've asked me this, everyone I talk to, I don't have to leave the Senate job that I have right now, right? I'm not up really for reelection until 27. I don't have to leave. I'm not making any plans to leave unless I win the race and go to the U.S. Senate. And so I'm focused on it. I'm focused on trying to help our caucus, our poor House members. They really need a coach in there, and I think they're going to get that with Terry. they're going to have to rebuild and restart. I mean, Don raised the speaker raised almost $30 million, and on that note, if any of your listeners would like to give, it's brycereeves.com, and our website is set up. We have a video that talks a little bit about us, what we've done in the past, and we've done pretty well. And I'll also say this: as rough as politics has been uh, across the nation, very divided. I will tell you, in Virginia, I am the only Republican chairman in a Democrat-controlled legislature because my colleagues trust me on this issue of skill games and gambling and all those sort of things. And since I revealed all that stuff and the fraud that was going in there, they've allowed me to stay as the chairman of that subcommittee to continue to try to set up the gaming commission. And I think that says a lot about being able to hold true to your convictions, and they're going to allow me the opportunity to still chair. Now, Senator Warner may come down and tell the Democrats, you got to get rid of and axe me. And, that'll be up to the speaker and his leadership team, whether or not they want to keep me in that position or not. But I think that says a lot about my ability to work across the aisle when the time comes.
Who's the minority leader now in the Republican?
Terry Kilgore in the House.
Yeah, but the minority leader in the Senate.
Ryan McDougal.
So McDougal's your leader.
Yeah.
Well, I hate skill games. I think they're the biggest ripoff Virginia's ever had. I think it's a scourge on society. I detest them. I've been fighting them forever, and they suck. So hopefully, I'm not sure you and I have ever been on the same side of that, but they're a complete ripoff. They're not regulated. They steal money from people. They prey on the most vulnerable. But that's not why you're here today. You're running for U.S. Senate. I still hate the skill games. And
you hate that. Wait till you see iGaming.
I hate that too.
Yeah. Well,
I hate those more.
My whole logic is I'm not trying to pick the winners and losers. I just want to do exactly what you're talking about. Enforce the law, set up regulations, and take the ability to pick winners and losers in that and take it out of the hands of legislators who can be bought, right? Because a lot of them get bought. And set up that commission. And that's really my goal is, I don't like any of it. I've never really voted for gambling.
You need to do that because we need, the idea, even worse than skill games, which are a complete ripoff and prey on the most vulnerable in society in Virginia. This iGaming, this casinos by iPhone, like you got to be kidding me.
Over.
There is no way to regulate that. That is the biggest thievery. There's no regulate. Anybody, 10-year-olds can be on it. It's stupid, but you know what? It's all about the money grab, dude. They're
right.
all in it for the money. That's all they're in it.
100%.
They don't care about the people.
100%. I'm going to have you come down and testify for the committee, man.
Hey, you have me come down because I'm the biggest proponent of legalized gambling. I'm for legalized casinos that are brick and mortar. You got to go in, got to show your ID. If you're on the list, they throw you out. You can't get in, can't be under 21. You have to go there. It's a destination, right? Biggest difference. Same thing with, FanDuel or DraftKings. I've been a proponent of that. Those are very well regulated in Virginia, right? It's tough to get a license, etc. They got to pay out. If you're out of the area, you can't bet. All the things are going to iGaming. You got to be kidding me. This thing is the biggest ripoff.
900% increase in problem gambling right now. Delegate Kresick, my Democrat colleague, who's my vice chairman of the committee, we've set up and tried to get money, and we're taking portions from each of the gaming institutions in the Commonwealth to put to that. And there's not enough money we can put into that now. It's growing so fast. And when you add iGaming to it, especially with our sports betting, our young men in college, my son's age, your son's age, they all bet.
That's right.
And we're going to have a real problem, John, if we don't get a handle on that. And look, maybe that's an issue we need to take federally as well as a U.S. senator taking that charge up because, we're trying to get rid of fentanyl. And at the same time, we're leaving the back door opening for another addiction that's even probably worse than fentanyl. It may not kill them, but it'll cause them to kill themselves if they go broke and have these. It's just, I couldn't agree with you more. So we are on the same page.
The NCAA turns around a month ago and says, "Oh, it's okay for college athletes to gamble, but not on their own whatever they're playing in." I mean, you got to be kidding me. I told
Right.
my son, "Look, dude, no way," because when you're going in that draft thing, they look at before they draft you. These teams look at everything on social media, everything you've done. They got somebody on there gambling. You know what? And it's like you or somebody else, you're out.
Everybody
So
remembers Pete Rose, like, right? I
it's just
mean,
bad. I mean, you look at the gambling scandal in the NBA. I mean, it's horrible. So we got to put a cap on this thing. Get me to testify. I'm all in. I can't stand that stuff. All
well,
right.
I really want to thank you, and more importantly, I just want to encourage my fellow Virginians that don't give up hope. Uh, we're in the game to win. I wouldn't run unless I thought there was an opportunity to run for the U.S. Senate. Again, I'd love your listeners to go to brycereeves.com. I know it's close to Christmas and money's tight, but money is the mother's milk of a campaign. We don't need a ton of it. I won't expect to get 10 million of it. I just need enough to pay for some gas and some other folks to come out and help us, and we're going to give it a shot.
All right, Reeves. That's a very inspiring segment. You got to fight, right? You
Gotta
and I
fight.
are fighters. As you said, we don't always agree on everything, but one thing we do agree on is you got to lace them up, lace them tight, get in the game, and take the shot.
You got
So,
it, brother. You
all
got
right,
it.
man. Good to have you.
Good to see you, John.
BryceReeves.com. Quick word from our sponsors, and Detective Nils is next.